Welcome back everyone. Those of you that have watched me a lot know that I love talking about Reddit. I think other than YouTube, it's probably one of my favourite sites on the internet. There's a lot of cool stuff on there, a lot of interesting communities. There is also a whole load of rubbish as well, so I think it's a good reflection of reality. Sometimes Reddit users put their heads together though and solve real world problems together. I did a video talking about those times ages ago on this channel. It did really well, but for some reason I never did a follow-up. I'm here today to correct that. My name is Danny Burke and this is the top 10 insane mysteries solved by Reddit Part 2. Starting off at number 10 now, we have CICADA 3301. Those of you who used to watch my old mystery videos may recognize this name. CICADA 3301 was an internet mystery that gripped Reddit and the internet at large when it was posted online in January 2012. It was a set of puzzles. Its purpose? To recruit new code breakers from the public for a secret organization. The puzzles were extremely difficult to break, even with an entire subreddit of people banding together to attempt it. The puzzles spanned across many different forms of communication media, including the internet, telephone, original music, digital images, and even an unpublished cryptic book written in ancient runes. A handful of Reddit users claim to have actually solved the puzzles, which were repeated every year for a few years after. Reportedly, they were then contacted by a secret organization who asked them questions about their support of information freedom, online privacy and freedom, and rejection of censorship. If they liked the answers they heard, they were then invited to a private forum where they were instructed to devise and complete a further project. After that, the stories get blurry. These days, people are convinced that another cicada puzzle could drop any minute now. At number 9 now, we have 11BX1371. That's the name of this 2015 viral video that Reddit obsessed over. It's 2 minutes long, all in black and white, showing a person in a plague doctor costume walking through an abandoned building. It's pretty creepy. There was also this strange buzzing noise playing in the background. Redditors found messages hidden inside the video and its sound spectrogram, as well as images of tortured or mutilated people. A lot of people speculated that it may have been a threat of bioterrorism against the US, but many people felt that it was all just for fun. Their suspicions were confirmed when, months later, a man called Parker Warner Wright admitted to making the video as an art project. Mystery solved then. Doesn't make the video any less creepier. Coming at number 8 now, we have the squirrel. In 2015, a Reddit user posted this image stating that it had been made by his friend's computer who was working on AI. People were amazed and freaked out too, and they wondered how exactly a computer managed to make this. All we know is that the computer started with the image of a squirrel lying on a wooden rail. Okay, that's fine, but how did it end up here? Look at the weird snail tentacles and the dog faces everywhere. There's even a few frog faces in there somewhere, I think, and at the back, on the right, I think I even saw a weird looking alien. I don't know. Redditors were stumped, but then user RegX put forward their theory that a computer started with a normal image of a squirrel, but then did Google searches on tiny parts of the image and blended in the top result each time. They also said, I guess that small bright spots tend to match eyes and small dark spots tend to match animal noses. As the images are composited, the spots start to look even more like animal faces, and this influences searches in the surrounding area in the next round. The compositing process here apparently normalizes the pixels towards grey, resulting in this extreme HDR gone wrong appearance. Well, there you go. That makes total sense to me. Next up at number 7 now, we have the old tape. In 2016, a strange recording began circulating on Reddit. It was reportedly playing on various radio stations in the mid-90s and had surfaced once again. Now before we go any further on this one, take a quick listen. Pretty creepy, right? Now according to rumours, the clip was from Columbia University's WKCR 89.9 radio station. They said that its signal was hijacked in order to play the creepy clip. As for those names, well, Reddit deduced that they were obituaries, including that of Robert Oppenheimer, the man credited with the creation of the atomic bomb. That doesn't seem to be an accident. People began speculating about what the names meant and who hijacked the station. Perhaps the whole thing was an elaborate fake. In the end, the Unresolved Mysteries subreddit deduced that it was nothing more than college DJs just having some fun, perhaps to creep people out for their own amusement. Now if that's true, it does remove the question of who did this, but it doesn't make it any less scary. Moving on to number 6 now, we have the song. Have you ever had a song stuck in your head for a long time and you just can't remember the name of it? Maybe you try singing it to other people, but they don't know what the song is either. It's really frustrating, isn't it? Well, not as frustrating as this. In 2002, someone shared a song on a message board and asked people for the name of it. This is what it sounded like. It sounds like it's from the 80s, but other than that, nobody could find anything about the song. It was dubbed Stay the second time around, even though people didn't know what the real name was, and it was posted to YouTube in 2007. This brought the mystery to a whole new community, but still, nobody could figure out what the song was. The only new knowledge was that it had been recorded from a German radio station in either 1984 or 1986. Then, in 2013, a breakthrough came through on Reddit. A Reddit user named Stefan, who worked for a Swedish radio station, recognized the song. He posted to Reddit saying that it was by an artist called Johan Lindell. Stefan's radio show actually got in touch with Johan and interviewed him. He told them that Stay was actually called Up on the Roof, and it was from his 1985 album Ghost Rider. The next question was, why didn't Johan help with this internet mystery if he wrote the song? And he said he never really uses the internet, which I'm sure we can all relate to. Moving on to number 5 now, we have the button. For April Fool's Day 2015, the Reddit team did something very strange on the website. They created a big red button for everyone to click. There was also a timer next to the button, and that was pretty much it. There was a short post that said the timer will count down from 60 seconds. If the button is pressed, the timer will reset to 60 seconds and continue counting down. You may only press the button once. Naturally, everyone went insane. What would happen when the timer reached 0? It was a total mystery. Unfortunately, everyone was clicking it so much that the timer would barely get past 58 seconds before it was reset again. Users could only push the button though if their account was created before that day, and they could only push it once. This meant there was a finite amount of people who could press it. To make things even more interesting, users would be given a coloured flare depending on when they pushed the button. Purple if they pushed it in the first 8 seconds, blue in the next 10, then green, yellow, orange, and finally red. This encouraged people to never let the timer hit 0. Everybody wanted a flare. Eventually though, after 2 months and 1 million users pressing the button, the timer reached 0. They were finally about to get their answer, and it was underwhelming. A Reddit mod simply thanked everyone for their participation and just archived the thread. Not all mysteries are satisfying when they're solved. Next up at number 4 now, we have the Whistler. This is a good one. In 2016, a Reddit user posted a creepy story about hearing a strange whistling noise in the swamps and woods near their childhood home when they were a kid. It sounded like a bird, but each whistle was so different that it was almost human-like. High, then low, then high again. A few years later, they heard the noise again. A chill went down their spine. Even their own mum was terrified. As the years went on, he thought about this less and less. At the age of 24, he was with his girlfriend watching some fireworks by a river. When his girlfriend left to get more beers, a dark figure began paddling down the river. He stared at the figure for a moment, and then he heard the whistle. The exact same whistle that he'd heard as a kid. He was terrified, and he asked the figure who they were. There was no answer. They just whistled one more time and then slowly paddled out of sight. He came to Reddit asking for help, for an answer, but nobody could find one. Finally, 2 years later, a user called Nasvan77 posted the answer. They recognized the whistle as that of a bird, specifically the black-capped chickadee's phoebe call. I think I got that right. They said it was a common bird within the US and that the dark figure may just be the sound of someone imitating the call. Mystery solved. Hopefully. I really hope that's the answer. Alright, moving on to number 3 now, we have the shooting of Walter Scott. In April 2015, Walter Scott, an unarmed black man, was fatally shot by Michael Slager, a police officer in North Charleston. The incident gained widespread attention due to a bystander filming the whole thing on their phone. The footage was shaky, blurry, and kind of difficult to watch. Over on Reddit, a Canadian cinematographer called Daniel Vauchart managed to stabilize the footage using software which made the events a lot clearer. He said he got involved because truth is the foundation of everything. The footage made it clear that Scott was fleeing from Slager, which directly contradicted his police report. In the December 2017, Slager was sentenced to 20 years in prison for second-degree murder. Next up at number 2 now, we have Sad Satan. A few years ago, a game started being spread online that claimed to be the most terrifying game on the internet. It was called Sad Satan. The game was creepy to say the least. It was reportedly from the dark web. The player is taken down monochromatic corridors while horrifying samples loop in the background. Strange images pop up on the screen, but then the game starts to take a darker turn. Convicted murderers and paedophiles appear, and then images of their victims too. There was even a clip of a beheading. The violent gore and child pornography was embedded into the game itself. A community on Reddit discovered the full extent of the horrors in this game and decided to do something about it. They created the Sad Satan subreddit and patched together a totally clean version of the game without any of the images I've mentioned before. Moving on to number 1 now, we have the giant purple cube. In August 2018, Fortnite players were stumped by a huge purple cube that spawned on the map. It had been summoned by a lightning storm and had seemingly random movements. Players tried to attack it but received electrical strikes that damaged their health and even killed them. Users on this subreddit for Fortnite put their heads together to figure out what was going on. They mapped out the path of the cube's movements to try and figure out the mystery of where the cube would finally end up next. They decided that the final location would be the famous Loot Lake. This was later confirmed by data miners who discovered a command saying "move to lake" inside the game's code. Sure enough, the cube eventually dropped into Loot Lake, turning the whole thing into a sort of huge bouncy castle. So there you go, one of life's greatest mysteries finally solved. And also there we go, as in that's the end of the video. Here we are at the end. It always happens. Do you want more? Shall I do a part 3? Do we have any Reddit fans out there? I doubt any of you spend as much time on Reddit as I do. Go and check out the first video as well if you haven't seen it. It was a while ago, so some of you may have missed it. Until next time, thanks for watching. As always guys, my name is Danny Burke and I will see you all in the next one.